Hello and welcome to another edition of Health Matters. Today, we will be discussing another interesting topic, and we are going to be talking about mental health. Why we shy away from the discussion of mental health, especially in our African community. So today, blessed again to have in studio Mr. James Jetson
Oh, hi.
and my co-host Fasia
I just
Hilton.
lost connection on my own.
Yes, you own. You are
Okay.
on Fasia. I want to say welcome to the both of you, and just want to give you the just couple of seconds to just give your opening statement before we continue our discussion tonight. So wherever you are, this is Health Matters, and please do me a favor, share the video and invite someone to be part of this discussion. We have our comment section over there. You can always make your comments. So join us as we discuss. Jensen, you are welcome.
Well, I'm not a medical person, but for purposes of looking at life and the community in which we find ourselves, the African community, the discussion is important, and I'm sure there are a few things I can add to the discussion. Looking at mental health, I think there's a lot of issues that borders anxiety disorder, that borders personality disorders. I want to look at child abuse. Why, in the African setting, African parents are always in the habit of trying to raise unnecessary issue for child upbringing. So mental health is in different forms and category, and so to be part of the discussion, I'm glad to be with you, the medical people and social workers, and I think I will learn from you guys too. So thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Welcome. And thank you for coming on. Fasia,
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fasia Hilton, your co-host, and today is a very important topic. We are discussing, why is mental health considered a taboo, and especially the African culture, mainly the West African culture. When we talk about mental health, and sometimes we sweep it under the rug because we think, oh, it can't happen to us, or if the person is experiencing mental health issues, then we equate mental health with craziness, or some culture would say you're going mad. So we want to make this an interactive discussion.
thank you. So we want to start with Jensen. And my question, not question, the discussion.
Hmm.
Why is it you think people shy away from the discussion when it comes to mental health? Why they shy away? They don't want to discuss that. You hear people discussing, oh, the person got malaria, the person they have typhoid. But when people are mentally sick and the symptoms are so glaring, you see they start to behave differently and they know something is wrong, but then nobody want to discuss it, and even they go to the point where they don't want to seek solution. They feel like there's this stigma that is attached to it, so they don't want to discuss it with other people.
Well, I think the primary reason why people shied away from the issue of discussing mental health is first and foremost the lack of education. Do we know what mental health is all about? Do we know what are the types of mental health? Do we know when someone is mentally unstable? Can we identify those persons? When I was studying philosophy 300, there are a lot of things we learned talking about different levels of craziness. So in this kind of a situation discussing mental health and for purposes of our audience, mental health is not just someone who jump in the street and eating from the garbage, or someone who is in the street and don't want to go home, or someone who have, seem very ragged out or don't seem to be, um, someone who is not considered as being civilized. But from a little reading, I get to know that even people who have anxiety disorder, they suffer from mental health. How can those people be hurt? Those who are involved in child abuse, like for example, you see someone who is an adult, sorry for the word, having sex with a baby, raping the child. That person, I'm sure the community don't see that person as being crazy, right? Do you think that person know their own problem? No, they don't. So even people in the community, the only thing that happens is the effect. After that, older folk have had sex with a little child, damage the future of that little child, then people begin to ask questions. But this is a normal person who probably leave and go to work, who leave and go to the farm or do their own normal activities. So such a community, like some of you who are getting involved in this kind of a discussion, you need to go beyond just, okay, this is a taboo. People are afraid of discussing. No, they are not afraid of discussing. They are not aware that craziness has its different levels. There are people who just experiencing discrimination. You just see somebody, you just hate them. Maybe Jensen, because Jensen talks on social media, you see, you don't like him. Maybe you have heard something from him, but instead of taking your time to understand who Jensen is, no, you don't care. Maybe the little rumor you have heard about him is what you want to dwell on. That's mental illness, social disadvantage, poverty. Generally, someone who has not eaten food for 2, 3 days, that person is mentally unstable. It happened to everybody, right? It's not just those who are outside there and probably don't have the right clothes to wear. So whether this is a taboo or not, my view would be, look, there's a need to provide education, especially poverty-stricken nations, because this kind of situation leads to death. It goes into a deeper problem of craziness. Those who are craziest, their craziness started, some way, somehow, when it developed. So instead of thinking that it's a taboo, we should be going into the crux of these matters. All right? Bereavement. Someone is just, maybe my mom died for years. Maybe I was a child. That has an effect on the child growing up. That child be seen like a normal person, but that child needs psychological, and then when our child probably don't have any relative to take good care, that child live like they are normal, but in the mind, that child probably don't be able to study very well and make the best of grades. That child don't have better food to eat because there's no, parental care. So there's a whole lot of issues that surround mental health. So I feel that discussing these matters provide education to the public. And it only take good leaders to begin to discuss these issues. Like we were discussing about abortion. The American society, they believe that, look, when people are under stress because of certain condition, they
Hmm.
suffer from mental issues.
Yes.
So they begin to discuss these matters in a very different way. That's how society works. People should not ignore this fact. The health institution, like for example, patient that somebody we just got information that this person's child eye got destroyed by some ill-fated person who claimed to be a doctor. The parent of that child will not sleep. Who want to have a child that is in pain continuously? You think that person become mentally stable? No, that person is not. So to discuss mental issue, my view is that there must be more education. Some of you people are getting there may come a time that you have to leave the Facebook and get in those communities. Do survey, all right? Draw up some questions, maybe 100 questions. Go to West Point. Just divide those sheets. Simple questions that people can take and answer. and you sit and make analysis of those questions, you will know what is happening in those society. Somebody woke up just 2 day rain, their entire house is flooded. They have no place to sleep. You think that that person is normal? No. Condition surrounding the community has affected the life of that person. So my view is enough education that will force those people who are in leadership to begin to look at the purpose of having a government. Look at those persons. Government should provide every level of care for those who they are governing. So mental health, if I'm
Oh,
discussing mental health, I will go deeper into
I
making
know you
money,
got so
money,
much
and what to do.
information. Uh, we just started. I mean, I like the trend, and I like the angle which you started with, and you talk about uh, you give an example of people that go around raping, raping children or raping other people, whether they are stable, they have a stable mind. Definitely not, because I believe that if you of your right mind, you will not do such a thing, knowing the consequences attached to it. Everything about rape. So I believe that those people that are in the habit of raping others, they not sound. Something is wrong. Something is wrong somewhere. And so and most of the time people don't want to discuss it. Others, they know this is happening in a community, and that person is not okay. The their mind is just, it's just not in the right frame. So while we continue our discussion, I want to pose the same question to Fasia. Why people shy away from the discussion? Why we
You
shy
know,
away from this? Yeah,
it's
mental
I
health.
agree with Jensen that lack of education, but in our African community or the Black community, mental health is looked upon as a taboo. If someone falls ill in the family and they have mental health issue, it is like a shame, a curse on the family. And we try to sweep it under the rug, and we Africans or Blacks, we are considered strong so that mental health should not happen to us. So we
Anybody can get
sweep
sick.
it under the exactly. We sweep
Mm-hmm.
it under the rug. But we have to talk about it, and thank God for social media, that people are getting more, there's more awareness, people are getting educated about it. I know when I was a little girl in Liberia, a teenager in Liberia, I mean, I never heard of mental health. I mean, when we heard of it, it was that person crazy, she gone crazy. But it could have been the person is suffering from hallucination or suffering from schizophrenia or what have you, but we label
Mm-hmm.
it as the person is crazy.
It's because I think, once they're not looking at the person and they're not caring for the person, they just conclude that the case is is something that they can't help, and
Exactly.
all is
Yes.
lost. And so
Yes.
they
Or
look at this.
it's
Yeah,
not medical. We
curable.
label
Yeah, it's
it
not
as
medical.
spiritual.
Yeah,
As
spiritual
spiritual.
problem.
Somebody witch this person, so they're
Yeah,
crazy. But we have to get more educated, and we have to talk about it.
Right.
exactly.
We have to be more open to talking about it, because sometimes it could be a simple fix. If somebody have that issue, they'll say, "Oh, yes, I had that same issue, but hey, here is what you can do, or here is you can go and talk to this person." Sometimes the person just needs counseling,
Mm-hmm.
but we consider it as a taboo. I was just reading Lancet Global Health said from 2000 to 2015, the
Wow.
rise of mental health increased by 49%. That is a problem.
Okay.
It's a
That is a
huge
problem.
increase.
Yes. And then also our history with the Civil War that went on, the substance abuse that is going on
Right.
in the
Right.
country. We have to come up with a solution to help our people. If not, our country is going. I mean, we're going to have a big problem.
Right.
Mm,
Fasia, you said something about substance abuse, and there's no better way to put it except you have a serious group of people, especially so looking at Liberia. Sometimes this issue can be easily solved, but
Yes.
the way it's being handled, if you allow drugs to enter Liberia, these kids, our children, will continue to tread that path. Peer pressure will make them to go in that direction. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a very bigger concern when it comes to mental health. Because trust me, my experience now is that when people start taking drugs, they become unstable for a very long time. I'm not sure whether they can really come out of that situation without a proper governmental structural consideration as to how they can help those children.
Yeah.
So when you have people just playing politics with the life of the people, I mean, Liberia, the world is not the way people are thinking down the line. People are looking at the bigger picture. Nobody get time to, if you have a nation and you want it to perish, people don't have much time. People are thinking about bigger things. Now, mental health, in my opinion, my Albert Einstein said, the moment you keep doing the same thing continuously and expecting different results,
mm.
that's insanity.
It
That's
is.
insanity.
Yes.
So, by that standard, by that definition of Albert Einstein, I would think that more Liberians are mentally sick. I know somebody will hate me for this, right? But if you have a government official who don't think, somebody want to take 30,000 out every time, patient come and get vest with me, because the crux of this matter is even those who are in leadership, they have serious mental problem. Why will you have a country that is so poor that you don't have good health condition? We're talking about, do you have mental facility in Liberia? No, you don't have. And one person was set for God in heaven's sake and want all of the money from the coffers. Is that person normal? No, they are not normal. They are not normal.
Mm.
It's just that their unstable condition is at a different level. Okay, so I mean, this is a serious issue. This is a big issue, and I think, as we said, as Fasil said, I agree with her. You all that are in the medical field, we have to leave your comfort zone and go down to the people. And not only that, you need to keep talking to these people so they can begin to do what they need to do for, the ordinary people, so that the mental health situation can
You,
reduce instead of increased.
thank you. You talk about education. The reason why people, are stigmatized, not only that, but they see the whole discussion as a taboo is because they are not properly informed.
Right.
So, how can we go about this information sharing? How can we bring, awareness to the issue?
That's a very good question. And I would think honestly that when we're discussing government, is not to think that government is not thinking. Government may have a structure. That, for example, the Ministry of Health. I'm sure the Ministry of Health in Liberia has a unit that probably, is structured to deal with mental health. Can the Ministry of Health alone do it? In my opinion, no. The Ministry of Health will need people like you, some non-governmental organizations. The Ministry of Health will have to outsource some of her activities,
Mm-hmm.
her own plan of action. What do you intend to do this year? You have the budget, you have the country resources, so then you outsource some of those things, give it out as a grant. Let people apply for them. It's John Brown feels, look, I can provide education so that we all can help to decrease, the rate of mental health in the country. So if you have grand patient, I'm sure none of you will be in this country. The only reason why you can't go to Liberia to work because you had to pay your bills here. But if there was some kind of job in Liberia, the people hire you and they pay you well, and I think this is where the government is supposed to really be looking at. We have Liberians who left this country and gone out there, they have studied. Instead of envying them, create an atmosphere where you can, or get them involved in the governance process. In implementing project, you will carry your ideas back there. So the issue of educating people is all left with the government. A serious government will say, you know what, we have this project. The Ministry of Health, Look at our own structure. So, okay, these people are online every time discussing. We can empower them more to come on the ground and do what they can do. What is 10, $50,000? Somebody can say, you know what, we have this short project, we have one more educational program for our communities. We believe from our statistics, the people in West Point need education, or else the mental health situation in there will increase. And they put us on low funds. You think people cannot apply and go and perform, some service as a providing education, and then they be monitored by a government institution? But it wouldn't take a better mind. It wouldn't take people who are concerned about the problem in that country. Now, let's just like bro talking about, even abroad, there are institutions around there who can help. So some of you need to start knocking the doors of some people, and then they can give you the leeway where you can go to some of those, or poor nations to help them. So there are many ways that you can help to provide education, and not just one way. The first and foremost, government must allow partnership. Government institutions that are aligned to do these things, they must allow partnership so that some of you can go back to Liberia to provide the services. Fasi, I'm sure when they give you some
Thank
good
you.
money, now you can go to Liberia, right? I mean, honestly, I'm asking you. Let's say they pay you more than the call you and I say, Fasi, you know what? We always heard you on this, on you so much, like some experienced person. How much the government paying you, or how much your institution in Morocco paying you? You look at that, the money. It's okay. If I say, you know what, we can give you twice of that, or we can give you a little more than that. I'm sure you'll be happy to go to your country to provide service.
True, but to be honest with
So,
you, and this is not a cliche answer.
so,
It's not
so
all about the
Fasia,
money, it's
before you
safety.
go, Fasia, the question
Hmm.
here was, he talked about education awareness. So the question was, how can we bring awareness to this situation? How can we inform people? How can the public get to know that this is happening and they need to be aware?
Well, first we have to have trained personnel. So we cannot just put anybody there to go and speak about mental health. So
Right.
you have to have people that are trained, that are well versed in that area. And as Jensen said, then if it means you have to get people from abroad to come, then let it be the case. I'm sure we have qualified people in Liberia, but we have to bring them to the forefront.
Okay.
And I'm sure
We have we
maybe
have
there
we
needs to
have
be a curriculum in the university. There
we
needs to
have
be a
qualified
curriculum for
people.
mental health counseling in at the university. I don't know if there's such a career path there, but we need to start looking at that. But then again, we have to have professors that are well versed to teach.
Right. I was saying we have a lot of people in Liberia who are educated, but trust me, experience that you have in this place, people may not want to hear this. But until people get down to Liberia and the Liberian government, you can partner with an institution in Liberia, and that institution will do better rather than that institution itself just doing the same thing over and over and getting no different result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
innovation. People need to find new ways to bring the information.
Right.
Yeah. And so, what about the family? Those that are, I would say victims. The victims, the family. How, what are some ways in which we can encourage them to, you know, to handle the situation?
Just by the education, letting them know that if a family member is going through such, it's not a curse on the family. They shouldn't be ashamed of it. Speaking about it, talking about it, coming up to the public to bring awareness, that is a start. Because
Okay.
I tell my patients, I said when they come to see me, especially new patient, I tell them, if you're not honest with me, if you cannot tell me, I cannot read your mind. Unless if you have a rash that is physical that I can see, I can't read your mind. So, and I've made that statement here before. There's four people or five people you have to be honest with: yourself, whatever higher being you believe in,
To be
your
living.
lawyer, your doctor.
Mm.
So we have to talk about it. Don't sweep it under the rug. Don't say it can't happen to me, or it can't happen to my family. It can happen to anybody.
Okay. The
You
same
know, you know.
question for you, James.
Okay. Every family, I'm sure the family tree, people want the root to remain in that the branches should keep growing. And there are some of us who believe that, you know, issues that relate to mental health or what is happening in Liberia now, especially to our young generation, our children, it's not just shameful, but it's very sorrowful to see our kids going the way they are going. How do you deal with that kind of situation? It's embarrassing, all right? But again, to have medication provided for these kids, like for example, next door to Ghana, the Ghanaian are doing everything possible. Ghana has mental health institutions. Ghana is fighting everything. When it comes to even providing, like for example, those kids are taking drugs and to flush it out of their system, Ghana has a better layout than Liberia. We can't pretend about these things. So, I mean, the family can do all they can, but why everyone don't have all of the means? This is a big community. The child you try your best to get your child out of the kind of a mental, unstableness. But society is polluted. The child turns around will see the very friends that are around. So what is wrong with, for example, government building a big institution to say, well, you know why? I'm glad that the government said, well, they have started some program.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
government said they have about $1 million. But guess what? That $1 million, you just need to land in the right hand. They
That's
can
it.
begin a very serious project.
That is
Instead of
it.
just saying, okay, we get $1 million and we're waiting for more money to come. No, those are false excuses. You have $1 million. Like for example, those kids are listening to or focus on Liberia, right? They interview some of those kids at they call the building panel building. That's a big structure that's standing up, incomplete, dilapidated. That government could look for the owner of that building and condition it and implore people to work in there and take care of those kids. You can fan it up. You can just provide the best of services for those people in there. Get those kids from outside. If you think it's too much, you have vast land. Just go all the building the people now for themselves. Go in some of the forest area, build structures, come and collect the young people from the street and take them there and begin to treat them. You will get result. Rather than have the laborers sense that program, trust me, you may not hear anything about that program until I don't know something else happened before again you start to hear about that. So the family will want to look at the medication. How can I provide medication for my child? My child is affected, or my brother is this, my sister is this, my son is there. How can I help? Do we have the medication in Liberia? That's the first thing. Can the mother who has his or her child out there want to buy medication to help? People say flushing me, somebody, especially the kids who are taking these drugs. Can people go and find this medication? Is the government involved in the first place? The legislature, are they discussing this matter? Just imagine two ordinary people like you left your job, you left your business schedule, you are thinking about Liberia so much that you had to leave everything to get on social media to discuss. People may think that way you want to bluff, but they didn't know the seriousness, how important you see life when people are having problems. But how do we get medication? The government don't have medication. The health ministry, do they have medication? I don't think so. Hospitalization, collect these people. Everybody, you talk to the kids, oh, Brabi, I'm tired of this street. I want to leave the street. I want to do this. That moment is their thought. Do you have place to collect them and carry them to a place to start to treat them? We don't. The government of Liberia that get the big fetch, that get the money, cannot do this thing. Okay, support group. The family alone can do it. There
No.
must be a support group.
It's a
That's what we're talking
huge.
about.
It's
Yes,
a huge tax.
right. So, I mean, when you think about it, you only need people who are serious to make things happen. All right. So we can begin to complement the effort of one another rather than just depending on the family. A family who has his child, maybe he or she have done everything possible to get that child changed. They've done all they can. They can't find solution. So then what do they do? They just say, okay, this man, maybe I get life, or this girl that's just on the line, let me leave it. But that's not the solution. It's already on the parents, you know.
Yes.
So we just think that, look, this is the time that, and I think the people themselves might begin to think seriously. It's not about who I'm around, whether the president, the minister, or whatever. They must begin to ask their legislators, what have you done? Or begin to petition them to do what they need to do best. Mental is a serious matter. Self-help plan can work, but you need a bigger picture. The government must get involved. The Ministry of Health, some discussing mental health, the Ministry of Health must take more serious action on this issue. Not just the parent, not just the family member. The family are already frustrated. They themselves they are going through trauma because of their
Um,
child or their children's situation. So the Ministry of Health
thank,
will need to do the bigger
thank you,
picture.
Chelsea. Thank you. Fasia, they had during the launch of the fundraising for these troubled youth. We to a radio brought the program live, and we had the opportunity to talk to some of these young boys and young girls, and they had so many things to say. And amongst those things they said was that the family, they couldn't stay with the family. And of course, they can't stay with the families because of the habit that they already have. Those that hook on drugs, and they have to support the habit as well. In order to do that, they have to, like, they're not working, so they steal people things, they take things here and
Mm,
there, they sell it to
Mm-hmm.
support the habit. Now it is difficult, it is heartbreaking for a family to see the child or the loved one out there, you know,
mm,
but they just can't help. They can't help it, because if you in this home, everything is getting missing. You put something here, it's gone. You put something there, it's gone. And so at the end of the day, this child that is addicted find himself in the area they call maybe the Zoco, or wherever they sleep, and all the kind of funny
Yes.
places they sleep. So how can family handle that kind of situation? Because they are not professional. I'm asking you from a medical standpoint. How can they try to manage the situation in order to keep the person home? It's a difficult one because
So,
nobody
I mean,
wants.
when in
Yeah,
that state, it is a difficult control over the person, over that family member. But then again, it's a fine line because the country does not have the resources
the help,
or
yes, that they need.
the help for that victim. So then, what do you do? The family put the child out, and then the end result is what you just spoke about. So now this lies with the government or maybe private institutions. We need to
right.
find a way to have a rehabilitation center.
So true.
That's
And
what
then
we
not only having
learned.
a rehabilitation center, we need to have the healthcare personnel that will be able to take care of these people. Maybe we need to send professionals here, or anywhere, maybe to Ghana, not only the U.S., to Ghana or where
Mhm.
have you, to get trained
Right.
on how to deal with these people. We have to have policies and procedures in, so that if
Mm,
the next employee comes, they can be trained on how to deal with this person, how to deal with this patient.
that's right.
Or maybe we need to develop a hotline, a crisis line that family members can call if they think or they see their child or their family member is going through such and such. They can call that hotline, and then at least they can give them some insight as to what to do or what resources that are available, a little resources that are available. So we have a lot of work to do.
Fasia, sometimes when you talk, I just feel like
We have a
some
lot
of
of
some
work to
of
do,
some of you need to go to
but
Liberia.
we
Honestly,
have
you
to
need,
start.
yeah, you need to
Well,
develop some
it's part
program.
of the plan for the
Yeah,
city health mission is it's on the way. So, but there's a lot of planning that that is involved. So at the end of the day, it's going to happen, but it takes time. That's all. So we we want to we are not here for long today. We want to take our closing remarks because time and fast spent. We're here for 30 minutes. Now we are here for only 35. So I want us to give our closing remarks before I just put on one or two of the comments that we have here. I will start with you, James.
well, I think this is a very big topic, and we couldn't really exhaust everything. It's about you know a huge problem within the African community. Since we discussed in West Africa, Liberia, I would think that there must be a partnership between the government institution responsible for health and some international organizations like the Fortified City and many other people who are involved in making sure that this subject matter is considered seriously. Second thing I would say is that the government must be very serious. Like I heard, George Weah himself believe that some government officials are taking drugs. And these are not perfect statements. These are not good statements. And some of the talk, we don't talk to police people. You have a society that is breaking down. And whether you like it or not, the next 10, 15 years, imagine that and say, if this society remains like that for the next 10, 15 years, what is going to happen to that society? What's going to happen to the people? It's going to be more serious. Now, there are other children outside of Liberia that are learning. Those kids will want to go back. They wouldn't want to because we go there, guess what? They will be killed. They will be haunted. So, importantly, so this topic, it shouldn't be the end to discuss this issue of mental health. It's a major issue, and patient, I would just urge you, even you need to call the Ministry of Health. Try as much as possible, bring some of the authority from the Ministry of Health to discuss this matter. Let it tell you some of the plans they're having over there. And maybe you all need to also organize yourself as serious partners to tell the government, say, hey, we can help, but we don't have the means. And then let the government tap into our budget and say, you know what, okay, say you have the training and the know-how, you can come, we can provide you some service and other stuff. So this topic must not end with our discussion. That's my closing comment. Do all that you
Thank you.
can to join government and partner with them if they are willing, and then you can do the best you can to provide the education and some of the things you talk about, medication, you know, homes to rehabilitate those kids and whatever. The government already have $1 million. You're tapping into it. Let the government, send out grants. Let some of you write grant proposals and get some of that money for education. Joey, I'm not just sit down on 1 million I talk about. The money is available. It must be deposited in an account. They must send out some. The health ministry should know what to do right now. I'm not a health practitioner, but just to say there's a $1 million there, take some of that money. Say, okay, we'll give $50,000. We'll put it up there. Send out the advertisement. Let people go there and apply for it and say, oh, we can do this. Some of you can apply. You can leave your job here and go to the library and help. That will give the political boost to those who want to who believe in politics, and then it will also help and save the generation. That's my closing comment. Because I will keep talking because I get angry with this kind of situation every time.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Fasia, Fasia,
First, yeah, you're muted, I think.
I can hear you, Fasia.
Help. That will get the political boost to politics. And then also have this
Fasia, can you hear me? Okay, I can hear Fasia. So while we are waiting for
Yes,
Fasia, okay, go ahead, Fasia. Oh my God. Anyway, she will be back on to give her closing remark. At the same time, while we are waiting for her, I just want to make this announcement tomorrow. at the same time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time or 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And that also will be 11 p.m. GMT, which is Liberian time. We will be here right on this platform of 45 City and to a radio platform to do the launching of the book Access to God's Mysteries. It's a little prayer book that you can use as a resource and you know in a time of need. There are times that you want to go through a time of prayer, and sometimes you need something to guide you along the way. So the prayer book is going to be a good resource. So don't miss it. Invite someone to the launching tomorrow. We're going to be here, and it's going to be very interesting. So the launching price is just something you can afford, something small because you have to sow into the word.
to the motion tomorrow.
I'm getting
It's going to
feedback.
be very interesting. So
Chelsea, you want to check your
It's not me. It's not me.
something small.
Tia, do you have any other thing on over there apart from Fasia? Can you hear me? Fasia, we can't hear you. Fasia is having a little technical problem in the background.
No,
Go ahead,
no, I don't think
Fasia.
so.
Closing remark.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. Your closing remark, please.
Um,
Yes, I
I
know.
think she's having some problem with internet. So
Glitches.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I had to change and the stigma that goes with mental health. I think cannot be treated, and I'm here to tell you that it can be treated. Can you hear me?
yes, we are hearing you, Fasia. She was asking for your closing comment.
Hello. Okay. Yes. As I was saying, besides the lack of yes, besides the lack of education and the stigma that goes with mental health, one of the disbelief that we have is a myth. That is not true. Mental health can't the facility, and we have to have the means to be able to treat these people.
Okay.
Okay. And most of the time when people are sick and they're going through this thing, people believe because there are times they are seeing things, they are hearing things, and people conclude that it's a spiritual problem or there's no help, and they start taking people from one herbalist to another
Mhm.
herbalist. Let's learn to seek
And it's
a proper solution. As we are praying about this, let's seek medical help as well, so that at the end of the day, you can rule out everything. If it's not treatable, it's not treatable. Then you find other solution. But I believe with the help of God, it is well. So if you have a family member that have some mental health issues, know that all is not well. Seek for the proper help, and in the course of time, you know, solution will come. So I want to say thank you for watching us. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you tomorrow for the launching of the book. So the access to God's mysteries. I know you will be there tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. And tomorrow promises to be another wonderful time. So thank you for watching us. This is Health Matters, and I want to say your health matters. Whatever it is that is going on right now in your life, know God is still the healer, and the doctors, they are there to treat. So God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow by His grace. Thank you so much, Fasia. Thank you so much, Jesse, and I look forward to seeing both of you tomorrow on the platform. And we're going to have a good time on this platform tomorrow. Thank you so much. God bless.
Oh, yes. Good night. Good night.